All right. Welcome back to another edition of the podcast that is now called Return the Picks, the podcast formerly known as the Pick Six Podcast. The rebrand is complete. The new logo is up. The new name is live on Twitter and Instagram, and of course on Anchor.fm and all good podcasting outlets. Delighted to say that once again, joining myself, Ollie Wilson, on the podcast is Jazz Gillam. Dave Bluck is back again, refusing to talk apparently. Just wondered if Dave could confirm the rumours whether Brandon Copeland had paid for his holiday last week, but his silence says everything, I suppose. Jazz, how you doing, man?
I'm all good, buddy. I'm all good. Glad Dave's back, though. Nice to have the third wheel back.
Yeah,
The third wheel?
Yeah, like a tricycle, you know, it's nice to have a third wheel, stability. Not like third wheel, like the person you don't want to be there. Get it? I'm trying to be nice about it.
Yeah, he's trying to be nice to you.
But he's taking it the wrong way.
Yeah, well, he
Third wheel's a negative thing, Jazz.
Depends on context completely.
Tricycles are old-fashioned and weird as well. That seems
But
like
they're more stable than a bicycle.
Can't
argue that.
What I will say is that Dave managed to be weirder and more awkward with his questions when he wasn't here than when he was. Like,
yeah,
true story.
I felt really bad reading that out.
I feel like I'm going to have to do that again the next time that I can't make an interview as well. I'll come up with something even weirder.
With emoji faces at the end to make sure you really make it as creepy as possible.
It wasn't even emoji face. It said wink, wink.
Oh, really? I thought it was like the winky face.
No.
Oh, Dave.
It said wink, wink.
And I said you have to read it exactly
how it said, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, you didn't say anything weird to Marlon Favorite, our guest today. I don't think you did. Been trying to think about it. I think we were too busy because we had so many technical issues. So I apologize for the audio and the video on this. Maybe there's a few fades in and out and stuff like that. We just kept on having a couple of connections.
We got there in the end.
But yeah, we got there in the end. He is a barrel of fun.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Already knew that from everything that he did at the Super Bowl last year. And Jazz could have gone on for an hour, I think, talking. I
just want to go to New Orleans and eat the food, if I'm honest.
So much.
I wanted to do that, yeah. So much.
But it also means we have to take him out somewhere in the UK if he ever comes back to work on Sky Sports.
Oh, for sure.
Which I'm more than happy to get up early and go into London to show him what an English greasy breakfast is like. Yeah. Which I can't believe he actually didn't have when he came over here last time.
Also, if you get fish and chips, I think Billingsgate Market's the place to get it. Because they have the fish market there.
I'd still say get it by the sea.
Yeah, we're not going to go to the sea, are we, from London? That's ages.
Hey, take a train to Brighton.
You can take Marlon out for the day in Brighton.
I'd love to do that. I'd love.
He's going to tell you to do one.
Yeah, he's going to tell you to get lost.
That's when you're going to see the angry side of him. You're like, "Oh, Marlon, you're so nice. When do you ever get angry?" And then he's going to be like, "Look, Ollie, all right, I came here. I've humoured you with your black pudding. I am not going to the seaside."
All I've had a thought just then of though is, wouldn't you like to try and recreate the Jerome Bettis on the bus moment, but with Marlon Favorite on a train? Going down to Brighton, like leading back, being like, "Yeah, we're gonna go and get the fish and chips." That'd be wicked fun.
I don't think it'll have the same impact when he has to wear a mask, though. That'll seem like that'll really sum up 2020 if it's like the Jerome Bettis doing the bus but wearing a mask.
Yeah. I might take it. Well, look, we talked a bit of COVID and football. We talked a bit of LSU. We talked Joe Burrow, obviously. We talked about his time in the league and bouncing around, and we talked a lot of rugby and food more than anything else, I think, with him, which was actually really fun and kind of great. And we will try and do more of that. So sit back, enjoy former LSU and New Orleans Saints nose tackle.
And Super Bowl winner.
Super Bowl and BCS Championship winner as well.
There you go.
Got both rings. Marlon Favorite. Enjoy. Basically, our star of the Super Bowl was Marlon Favorite. Of all the kind of guys that we got involved in everything we were doing with the shows, with the broadcast, and then he was doing his own thing on the red carpet. But Marlon absolutely stole the show. A Super Bowl winner, BCS champion as well, with the LSU Tigers, I believe. And I'm almost amazed you don't have a Tigers jersey on, considering how much you like to drop in "Go Tigers" at any point in everything.
Oh wait, reaching for something.
He's got it.
My little boy took it.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Well, it's good you're bringing him up right, though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Go Tigers. You know, we got play a little football down here. That's it, you know.
Larry, that impression seems to get better and better every time you do it, man. You should start just making a side hustle of being an impersonator, I tell you.
I'm thinking about, I saw Jamie Foxx doing his thing with the different impersonation. I do that all the time. Might as well.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope you appreciate, I've not only gone for the purple and yellow Lakers jersey, but it is the Shaquille O'Neal former LSU Tiger Lakers jersey as well. So I'm trying to, you know, have a bit of good faith with you, get back in your good books. If I did anything at all on the red carpet, man, you were an absolute storm on that thing. Like, that's your kind of moment to shine, isn't it? The personality that you've got comes through, and you're able to just grab whoever you want on the red carpet and talk to them about anything that you want. What was that experience like for yourself?
Well, the red carpet was a great experience, not able to experience that a lot just being a regular college football player or as a player in the NFL. The reinvention and transition to being a broadcaster, an amazing experience, life experience. As you mentioned on the red carpet, it was just one of those moments. So when we first got on the red carpet, I guess going to the 10 NFL teams paid off, knowing a lot of folks. So it went from one person to the next and one person to the next. And my man Ollie, it was Ollie and Oliver. They were on the opposite side, and they were like trying to get guys' attention. Guys, wait. Guys, wait. Hold on a second. I saw my boy getting frustrated. Like, I said, man, chill. I got you. So me and Lorenzo played with the Washington football team together. You know, they're the Washington football team.
Nice. Well done.
Avoid the slipped.
And they all met, and it was a great interview. Y'all did a good job with them.
Man, you were the reason we had, like, Cooper Kupp actually came over and spoke to us. You were the reason that we were, like, 3 seconds away from talking to Saquon Barkley before his kind of handler dragged him away, man. It was, we got a lot of people thanks to your personality and the ability to use those big D-tackle hands to maul them in. Nobody's saying no to you.
Yeah, they didn't have a choice, did they?
All good. Look, man, the teamwork make the dream work, and we all in broadcasting, so we need content. That's all it is. So, man, I was glad I was able to help y'all. 100. How's
it all going in terms of the broadcasting side of stuff? It's obviously a difficult time at the moment anyway, but that career trajectory, you know, it's a very different thing to go from something that's so regimented in football to something that's very much kind of, particularly live broadcasting. It's free form, it's off the cuff, you're working with stuff as it happens. But I guess there's a little bit of that in the NFL as well. There are skills that you can transition into both.
It is. It's different. It's a different skill set. I noticed one of the main things we learned at Broadcast Bootcamp when I went to NFL Broadcast Bootcamp, the thing that they didn't like you to do as a player, like talking and being vocal and having a voice, as a player is more like, don't say much, just come out here, play football, and go home. That's not what broadcasting is. It's the total opposite. Say more, give us more stories, don't say less. So that's, for me, that was already a part of my personality. So I was able to do that, and it felt comfortable. And from there, it's just as you mentioned, relationships. You'll be surprised with just smiling a dude and just being nice, being kind to folks.
Yeah, totally.
If someone's having a bad day and they tell you screw off, well, okay, catch you next time. You know, so that just, you know, I with this industry, it allows me to put my ego to the side and just talk and share stories, because it's just so much about content.
Because we spoke with Shane a bit about the broadcasting stuff, and he came at it from a player's point of view, saying, you have that wall, you're wary of journalists at times, and now you've worked on both sides of the aisle, so to speak. Do you have an appreciation more for where sometimes those journalists that were around in the locker rooms of the teams that you played on were coming from compared to when you did as a player?
I have a much bigger appreciation because I can remember, like, a lot of the times, so you understand both sides. That's a good point, Oliver. You understand both sides, right, guys? You have this side where you're a player and you're tired. You really don't feel like doing any talking, and it's like extended work to do the broadcasting. And you never really pay attention to the other side because a lot of times as football players, you're just so self-consumed on what you have going on as opposed to the next person. And I can remember as a player, I used to look forward to going into my locker and I have a media request on the locker. Developed a love for broadcast, and I was going to school for this at LSU, and improv as well. I'm actually a SAG actor as well. I worked on When the Game Stands Tall with Jim Caviezel and Alex Lowen. Y'all get a chance, y'all check it out. Film we shot back down here in New Orleans back in 2013. So just being in entertainment was always a part of my DNA. So to your point, it's a big appreciation to it because I know how hard it is sometimes to get the players' attention. I know how hard it is to you'll do an interview request. Even what we're doing right now, this had to be planned out a week ahead just so it makes sure everybody's calendar is okay. So being involved on this side, definitely I have a bigger appreciation for what we do as broadcasters.
Do you think it's been quite nice for you actually to have to kind of take away the polish and the media training and then just become yourself as a broadcaster as opposed to being, we played well, that's what happened, and that's it, as opposed to having to say, well, no, he did something wrong, he needs to be put in his place, that sort of stuff.
That type of thing. And then a lot of times you have the NFL is full of so many different personalities. So you have some guys, they don't really like talking to the media. And then you have some guys, they embrace it. So I can tell now, like, the guys that want to get into, like, when Cam Jordan to me and started walking towards us, I know Cam already, obviously, being here in New Orleans. But when Cam came up to me, you could tell he was excited to do the interview, like he wanted to get the rep. And that's one thing, if there is any similarities between broadcasting and actually playing football, is repetition is the father of learning. The more you do something, the better you get at it. So those things go parallel. And I can see the players that want to get involved is now, like Delvin Bro. He's a guy who's going to come on my show here pretty soon in the next few weeks. He likes broadcasting. He want to get involved on this side. So I think you'll see more player, guys like you all who have, been involved in the industry on this end, doing more training and collaborations with guys like myself who played the game and at the same time transition into broadcasting.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, Marlon, because the more ex-players that get into broadcasting, the harder it is for somebody like me to get a job who's never been professional. No way. Look, you guys all had fun playing NFL, all right? I wish I could do that. Now you're coming into my territory, man. Come on.
But you know what it is, though? I noticed, like, even with the LSU Sport Network, Hunt Palmer, Hunt never played a down of football, but he loves football. He can tell you this and that about this player. So me and Brandon, we're the experts on the panel. So he always tossed the question if it's something dealing with the lineman, an offensive lineman, a tight end, or defensive tackle, DN. He always tossed the question to me if we're talking the skill position. He tosses it over to my little bro Brandon Taylor. So going nowhere too soon, baby. We still need like journalists on just for that flow, because it shows the versatility of the player, but also the love and the passion for broadcasting from my folks who might have not played any football, but had a little time doing other deal.
Yeah, honestly, if all three of us on this podcast, we all played university football, American football in the UK. When you think university football, you're thinking like 70,000 people in Death Valley. When I'm saying university football in the UK, I'm saying one man and maybe his dog if we're lucky kind of thing. So, yeah, the football experience for you compared to us three at university, it's quite a gulf, man, quite a gulf.
Yeah, I think that not just the amount of fans in the stands, but the quality might have been a bit different as well, Ollie. Yeah.
Pretty sure a junior high school team could probably beat us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I have something, though, here. I have a little wrinkle I want to throw in this. I got something.
Oh, rugby ball.
A rugby ball.
I like that you can hold it comfortably in one
hand.
One hand,
yeah.
Oh, what's that? I can't quite make it out, man.
I just got on with the NOLA Go rugby team as operational manager.
Man, I've seen.
Nice.
You've been.
Oh wow.
You've been doing some training and stuff. I've been seeing on your Instagram. There's been some quick 40 times and stuff like that, man. You never lose the that initial burst, do you, man?
Not at all. So what I'm doing is I do get out there for the conditioning with the players, but a good buddy of mine, family friend Tim Felkin, he's the owner of the New Orleans Rugby Gold team here. So
nice.
So when I'm not on with you guys, I'm over there and just helping out with community operations, getting stuff going with the brand. This is the NOLA Gold ball.
Nice.
Very
wow,
nice.
That looks wicked.
That's a great logo.
So
there you go.
So it's been cool. So it's in America now. We have about 12 teams now.
Yeah.
He's got a new team. So the union rugby is here, and I thought it was just super cool because I know everything there is about football, and the fact that I actually come on overseas with you guys now, it's a no-brainer to start talking a little rugby too. So it's over
there you go.
I'm shocked that there are teams down there. I know that there's a little bit of popularity up in the Northeast, like Boston kind of area, but I didn't think you'd have any teams down there. Is it hard getting people to actually give it a go?
Well, the biggest challenge that we're having right now, and that's where you bring a very familiar football face into the situation, it's going to have to start at the schools, middle school, high school. So with the adults, like guys that are in their 20s, it'll be hard to sell them on rugby because you got guys that are literally spending years on top of years doing like little dead-end gigs, but it allows them time to stay in shape for football when you could just go right over there and play American rugby and be active. So that idea we're pushing out, and it's going to have to start. You're going to have after this crazy pandemic and all of this stuff is cleared up, you'll have locally here in the Louisiana area in the southern region, because there's a team in Houston, there's a team in Atlanta, there's a team in Dallas, so it's growing. You'll start seeing it implemented into middle school sports right along with high school sports, and from there you'll start to develop rugby scholarships in America. So I love sports in general. So to have a rugby team and for it to have so many similarities to football is just a cool transition for me to add to the repertoire.
Well, there'll be a lot of European players that would be really interested in coming over to America and doing a year or a couple of years doing doing a master's or something in America just to play some rugby.
That would be cool. We have
some Australians, some Kiwis, get everyone in.
Yeah, a lot of the guys like Mr. Felton, one of our adopted teams are out there from England. I lost my train of thought for a second, but we have a lot of players that's from the UK, from South Africa, like Carl Myers, one of our kickers. He'll actually have opportunity here with American football, with the NFL, because he boots it, man. He learned how to kick that ball. He's been kicking in rugby.
Yeah.
So and then Coach Pete Carroll, he had an American rugby team or a professional rugby team come over and work with the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, really?
To do tackling, yeah.
Huh.
So because rugby tackling is cleaning, and they're trying to clean up NFL, with the new ruling and stuff. So if we can have a safer way of playing, the two sports help each other out.
Yeah, well, that's how you get some kids to play, because if their parents are so worried about CTE and helmet to helmet contact, rugby is still dangerous, but it's a bit safer. It's a safer option.
Yeah, it's still got those collisions, doesn't it, though? And the head-to-heads can still happen.
Yeah.
You're not using your head as a weapon. I mean, that's the one thing I remember from tackling for American football was put your head in front of the man and use that to kind of block off the field. In rugby, it's always put it the other side because you don't want to get your head kneed, because that's really going to give you a concussion.
It's by accident in rugby, but it's kind of by design in American football.
Yeah,
isn't it?
true.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does open up the age-old question, though, Marlon. As a man that has played both sports, I'm guessing you've had a crack at rugby a couple of times. Which one is for the stronger alpha male, American football or rugby? In the UK, this is a question that divides a lot of universities, man.
Okay, so I watched rugby over there, like the 9-union rugby, just your basic Major League Rugby. That stuff looks brutal. Yeah. How quick that ball comes out, and it's just this quick hit. So you could tell, like, I guess football, it has this killer instinct to it where we naturally said, hey, clear the clock. So if I would have picked a mega alpha male, and if egos are involved, I would say football, but just in regards to just risking it all, rugby. Because the same guy, Tim Falcon, he tried to get me to play rugby when I was in between NFL teams. So I watched a couple of games, and I'm like, okay, where are the knee pads? I don't see any. Yeah. Wait, where's a helmet? So I was like, oh, no. So
you never got involved. You never stepped into a live game or anything like that, then, man.
I did for the first time when I came on staff. I played a game and I had fun. We've been doing touch, obviously, with the corona out of the season, but just to get the concept of just spreading out, keeping the ball, and just try to move forward as much as you can, not fumbling because the turnovers happen more rapidly, as opposed to, like, if you drop the ball and you recover the fumble in American football is good, but if you recovered in rugby, from what I understand, it don't matter. You dropped it, so
yeah,
gotta have those Odell Beckham hands, baby.
That's right.
Oh, yeah,
that's very true.
So then, does it change your opinion on the introduction of the lateral into American football more? You know, there's the famous one with USC with the Reggie Bush lateral in the BCS Championship game against Vince Young and the Texas Longhorns, and it's so infrequent. And there are so many times that English rugby fans will yell at the TV saying, just give it sideways, give it sideways.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a place for the lateral in American football for it to become a planned technique of more than just the option that we see, QB running back kind of thing?
We may see a place for it at some point. I think right now what we're dealing with more than anything else is Americans becoming familiar with rugby. Because it's just, now we are in 9 major cities, MLR, here in America, but once the idea is embedded, then you probably see it's smoother. I mean, as long as there's some type of lateral movement, your option runners, they're okay with it. We had as a matter of fact, three quarterbacks out there when we played the other day, and they said it's almost like we're doing that lateral deal. So maybe, I mean, the NFL's in the process, and basically American football's in the process of changing around a lot of rules anyway. So
well, maybe, yeah, without that in. You were saying, Marlon, about trying to get rugby into schools and colleges. Do you reckon one of the big hurdles they're going to kind of face is trying to get the NCAA scholarships for rugby? Because don't colleges have a certain number they can give out?
Yes, that will be a challenge. But the way rugby is structured, you have more crews, like crew clubs. So say, for instance, if I have to go through the JUCO route of rugby, they'll be able to implement those same rules with the NCAA and being only able to pass out so many scholarships. But on the flip side, Jazz, it also allows them to have a way to compete. Because here in America, I mean, guys are day in and day out are competing for these college scholarships. Don't everyone get that offer. So learning the game, being able to be very skilled in the game will play a role. And then, of course, the NCAA will just say, okay, y'all are allowed X amount of scholarships for the sport as it grows and the need is there.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the inverse of what's happened, with us playing American football at college here. We all played rugby in school. That's the sport we grew up with, but we wanted to do something different. So it's just giving people the option, and then, some people will take you up on it. And we had some guys, Ollie, there was a guy in our league, was it Birmingham? He got on the Bears practice squad. There was a few guys.
Staffordshire had a chap called Jermaine Allen who was on the Bears practice
squad. That was it, yeah.
There's a few guys that have gone through and got some opportunities.
And there is nothing funnier, Marlon, than seeing a 5'9" small little Welsh lad getting stiff-armed by a guy who's about to go onto the Bears practice squad. It is the best thing you'll ever see. There's a video of it on YouTube. I'll send you a link to it if you want to see it. I watch it time and time again, man. It's great. Can we talk a little bit of college sport, particularly with everything that's going on at the moment, Marlon? Because college football is completely up in the air right now with the big conferences, the Big 12 and the Pac-12, Big 10, sorry, and the Pac-12 shutting down and saying that there might be spring, but definitely not autumn football. You're an SEC man. The SEC will fight tooth and nail, surely, to ensure that we have some sort of football this autumn.
They're going to fight. They're going to fight to try to have some type of autumn football. I do think the ACC fights as well. I just got an announcement that Nickel State and the Sun Belt Conference schools had just canceled out as well. I think the challenge is if football does happen and in the NCAA and those teams play, it's going to be hard to get the play in the spring as well. So the teams that did pull out will just have to wait to the 2021 season. Because guys, I did it before. I played one year, I think I did like 28, 29 games. And that's when I started Favorite Strength and Fitness. I was like, I got to get me a small business because all this.
Wow.
That's insane, man. That's got to be a ridiculous toll on the body playing that much.
It was a bit taxing on the body, but also the mind. Being able to play the ball. I was still young. I was still in my 20s, so I was able to really go at it, but it just really was mentally draining too. So I ended up playing like 2 more years of arena ball and then retired and dove right into broadcasting.
Fair enough. Yeah, 28 games taking those hits. That doesn't sound like a very fun time. I mean, imagine the amount of ice baths you had after that would have been horrific.
For real.
Emma, you mentioned something earlier on, which is something that I always want to ask kind of pro athletes. You talked about your kind of in the locker room at LSU. Did you have anything that was like, this is my go-to thing in my locker, like for before or after games? Only because, like, I've seen, for instance, like some of the soccer players in the US, I've seen a couple of them have things like jars of Nutella or like PB&J and stuff like that. Did you have something in there that was like your post-game, this is for Marlon and Marlon only, sat there in any of the lockers that you had in the NFL or at LSU?
I would usually, at the time, I would have my iPod. Like, that used to be the first thing I want to get to. At LSU, one of our doctors used to always give me a Snicker at halftime. So when I go back in the locker room, I know Doc going to find me and give me that Snicker. And that Snicker always gave me that little boost in the third quarter. So those were some of the things. For me, it was always my routine before game, whether it's listening to my iPod, going to the cold tubs, hot tubs. You get that pregame routine going to where your body is perfect, even down to the food you eat.
And what sort of food would you eat?
So before the game, we would load up on the carbohydrates. So I would do like a light pasta, not too heavy on the marinara, but just that little fine little enough to where you get that tomato taste.
Yeah.
And I would do a light salad because you didn't want to do too many salads. Hello, somebody, because you didn't want to have to go take a run in the third quarter. And I would usually do some type of protein, whether it's a piece of chicken or a piece of steak or something like that.
Nice.
And post game, did you have a different kind of dinner for winning or losing post game?
I didn't. If we won and we lost, I still ate the same thing. I was going to some Jack in the Box or Raging Cane's or something of that nature.
What is Raging Cane's?
It's fried chicken, isn't it? Raging Cane's?
Raging Cane's is fried chicken. The first location actually originated on LSU's campus. So now I think there's some in the UK too. I think they all made their way internationally.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
I remember being sat in the bar next to the owner one day, and he was telling me all about it.
Now, do y'all have Popeye chicken over there?
Don't think it's got here,
KFC. No. KFC's our chicken.
And there's lots of like favorite chicken as well, or chicken cottage. Those are the main three I can think of.
Yeah, Popeyes hasn't made.
Y'all got to come down to New Orleans, man. I'm going to have to get y'all on some weed ass, some chicken and watermelon, skip spot. We're going to get you over there weed ass too or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And also, y'all have, well, when I was out there and I was staying in London, I went to Chipotle, but y'all didn't have all the sauces.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I went to Chipotle, but y'all was missing, like, y'all didn't have, it was, I want to say y'all didn't have the queso and y'all didn't have the guacamole.
Yeah,
it was something like that. Y'all missing
thing for us. So I think that lots of brands in the UK have made burrito places realizing that that's a great way of making a lot of money because burritos are delicious. So there's lots of places that have already done that. So I think Chipotle took a long time to get here because other ones had already kind of not cornered the market, but had started to grow by far more than they could do. And the trouble you have with different countries is different tastes. So sometimes for us, maybe queso is too much. Don't say why it would be. Queso would be delicious on anything. But it's, I think that's the reason why they didn't have everything yet. Maybe in time they will. Maybe next time you come over, it'll be the fully loaded Chipotle experience for you.
What I do appreciate is the price on the menu is the full price of what you pay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you have to work out the taxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so annoying. When I went to New York and I just couldn't figure anything out, I was like, yeah. I mean, everything's so expensive already, and then you add on another like 25% or whatever it is. It sucks.
It sucks, bro. I can't lie to you. Oh, New York is the worst. So that's one thing. And then here, like Louisiana is the only place that have parishes. So the different parishes, taxes are different. Everywhere else is counties, like Dade County, like all of those different, like Orange County, like everywhere else. I live in like Jefferson Parish. I work a lot in Orleans Parish. So that's how it goes here. So you may pay literally, I usually get like a frappe. So it would sometimes be, I don't know, 12 to 13 cent difference. Just little tedious stuff like that. You'd be short like 4 cents. It's just
adds up.
Crazy.
Over year, that adds up.
Depends how many frappes you need, I guess.
Are you doing the drive-through daiquiri places?
What you know about that, baby?
Oh, I know about the drive-through daiquiri places.
Yeah. From time to time, I hit the drive-through daiquiri, especially like if we're going to a party. You want to turn up a little bit so you get your little daiquiri, a little spike in it, and just have you a good time.
Nice.
I was told by somebody that in New Orleans, car crashes, like 60% of them are little old ladies because they all get their little drive-through daiquiri, and then on their way home, they're sipping on their daiquiri and end up in
Yeah, you almost have to train yourself to drink around here because you're gonna. The cool thing about New Orleans, everything is in such close proximity. So I'm literally 15 minutes from the Dome right now, but I live in Jefferson, right? So it's the 15-minute rule in New Orleans. Like they said, no matter where you're at, it take you 15 minutes to get there. So everything is close. So if you're drinking, you just gotta drive safely. Make sure you can.
For 15 minutes, then you're fine.
Uber, get an Uber.
That's it. Nice.
Drinking, driving, don't do that.
Don't drink and drive. Just get your Uber and enjoy your daiquiri.
Absolutely. Favorite flavor of daiquiri?
The Soldier Slim.
Okay, what's in that?
Soldier Slim is it's like it's the red, white, and blue. So you get a little bit of Hypnotic, a tad bit of Hennessy, and then the red is well, you have to either, some folks for their white go like a pina colada taste or a rum taste.
Yeah.
And then you do it. It gives you this green coloring, and we call it the Soldier Slim.
Nice.
I didn't ever get one when I was in New Orleans. I was gutted. Like, I just didn't get round to getting the drive-through daiquiris. But it is such a fun city. There's all these little bits of like delicious either food or drink everywhere, man. It's really fun as a place to just go and visit and hit up, especially for a game day as well, man. Never been anywhere like that on a game day.
Y'all got to come down here. Y'all broadcasting, so once this NOLA Gold season get going, y'all got to come on down here once we're able to get this pandemic going, getting out the way, get y'all rolling, man, get y'all some daiquiris.
Hey, if you put us up in New Orleans, myself and Dave, we play on a really bang average rugby sevens team that's more about the daiquiris than it is about the rugby. But we'll try and sort out a Marlon Favorite jersey of our rugby sevens team to make you an honorary player for us, man.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
It's called the Wolf Pack
too. Yeah.
I like it.
You'd be a member of the Wolf Pack.
What's the kind of any secret nuggets to, if you are, whenever anybody's available to get to New Orleans, like stuff that is maybe not on those tourist traps that you definitely got to hit up?
I would say anytime you see like a Danny and Clyde's po' boy or something of that nature, like the best po' boys are actually at the gas stations.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. That's one interesting take. I would definitely hit up like some of the local restaurants like Weedad's, Watermelon Chicken and Shrimp. I would hit up, Weedad's chicken and Weedad's is chicken and shrimp, and it's chicken and watermelon at Skip Spot Uptown. You have Swing Snack. That's on the chicken end. For like gumbo, you have like New Orleans hamburger and seafood. You have New Orleans hamburger and Spirit. It's a couple of spots where some really good gumbo. Hitting up Acme's for like some charcoal oysters.
Oh man, my mouth's watering. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, this is creating a problem.
What's better, gumbo or jambalaya?
I'll say gumbo.
Yeah,
because it depends on how the jambalaya is made. If you have, I like the jambalaya that has a kick of spice, but they make sure that they put the right amount of seasoned meat in it. So like, D&D smoked sausage, that's a popular smoked sausage here to go on Cajun food. It almost want to have that dirty rice kick to it with that Louisiana seasoned flavor. That's the best jambalaya. But I'll go gumbo. I would say get you a nice seafood gumbo first. That's where you want to go. You can't go wrong with that.
I've never had gumbo. It's quite spicy, isn't it?
Depends. I don't really like, and it's gonna sound crazy with me being a Creole guy, but I don't like my food super duper spicy.
Oh wow!
So I would put, so my favorite gumbo would be like a gumbo with okra in it. So you got okra sausage.
Lovely,
yeah.
Some people put andouille sausage, shrimp, crab meat, all of that good stuff. And the piece that makes the gumbo, and this is where the challenge with the gumbo is. Gumbo starts off with making a proper roux.
Yeah.
It's flour, it's the right seasoning, and it's the filet that goes into the gumbo. And then from there, you start adding everything. You add the water, and then before you know, you add more stuff. And the idea is to have a big old nice pot of gumbo. Stir that thing on up nice, get that roux nice. Like my mother, she does a good job at getting the roux really dark. So when you start adding other stuff, you don't have too much of a clear. Think of a clear soup, but with a whole bunch of Cajun flavor in it, and that's your gumbo.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Oh man.
Yep.
How did you cope being in the UK with like
crap food?
Just name like 20 restaurants and a great jambalaya and gumbo.
I struggled at breakfast in the UK. The lunch was okay because, like I said, I was able to go to like Chipotle, stuff like that. That was, I was used to. But the breakfast tripped me out. I do like the combination of like cheese and fruit and the way they do that deal at some of the spots I went. That was cool. But the breakfast, I think, is like an egg Benedict. Like the egg is like pouched, but it wasn't cooked on the top. And it was like this little, they tried to do like a bagel base. I'm like,
no. Yeah, no, it sounds to me, Mark, you've gone to all the posh places. You need to go to the places that aren't so posh to just do greasy bacon and sausages, scrambled eggs, fried eggs.
I was staying at the Landmark Hotel.
Yeah, it's probably pretty posh, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they probably get lots of people who love eggs Benedict there, but probably don't want a big greasy fry up instead. But that fry up is what you want.
Yeah,
that's what I want. What's the good dish there? What I have to eat when next time I come out to the UK?
Oh, I mean, we'll take you to, if you want like a greasy fry up, we can just take you to the UK equivalent of a Denny's, which is like a Wetherspoons type thing. But you can get, eggs, bacon, sausage, black pudding, tomatoes,
hash browns,
mushroom, hash browns, all on one big plate, load of ketchup. You're in like Flint, mate. Sorted.
Huh.
Okay, now I get it. See, you had me until you started saying black pudding. What else you mentioned after that? See, that they had the black pudding now, and I'm like,
Oh, it's nice. It's good.
Tried it?
Love it.
I didn't try it because I was like,
It is delicious. It's like the most peppery sausage you'll ever have.
Something else. What else you was rolling in?
We had hash browns,
mushrooms,
tomatoes, mushrooms.
See the tomatoes and the mushrooms. See, we don't get too much of that on our breakfast place down here.
Yeah, you don't need those. You just want the bacon, the sausage, the eggs, maybe some black pudding if you want to try it, some hash browns. Some beans.
I want to try it because it sounds like all of y'all agree with it.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's
okay.
The description will put you off, and then you have the taste, and it's like, all right, actually, yeah, I can. That goes perfectly.
You totally get it.
Everything else in my breakfast plate.
I trust you. Hey, you my boy, bro. So I'm gonna trust you on that one. Any signature foods, like if you come to London or if you come out here in the UK in one of our local areas, you gotta eat at.
Cool.
Or eat what?
It's tricky. I mean, you think of lots of American cities have got like a signature dish. Like you go to New York, you want to have New York pizza. You go to Chicago, you want to have some deep dish, that sort of stuff. Whereas London's so mixed.
Fish and chips, I guess, is
probably the
top thing in the UK.
Yeah,
that's what I heard a lot of. Fish and chips.
Pies.
That's what I'm gonna have to get next time I come out.
Big on pies. You can get some really nice pies, but it's very different food. Do you have a lot of Indian food down in Louisiana?
Some Indian spots down here was winning in Louisiana. It's like our Chinese restaurants, our Vietnamese restaurants. Like we'll hit a couple like photo spots up, like Photo Bang.
Yeah, I like Vietnamese food.
It up. What else? And of course, I'm missing a major. Down here, everything else is just super Creole or Cajun food, like crawfish.
Oh, I really want to try like a big crawfish boil with all the butter.
Yeah, you'll love that. The crawfish balls, the broiled
jazz,
turkey necks, shrimp etouffee. There's a couple of meals we got down here that's signature Louisiana meals.
Yeah.
Boudin. So, because a lot of New Orleans is really the melting pot of Louisiana. It's very, very multicultural here.
Yeah.
But the Louisiana food, like the original like boudin and all of these crawfish boils and all of that stuff, is really like Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, Lafayette, Louisiana, and around that area. If you want the best Louisiana food, all of those folks migrated here to New Orleans, started opening up restaurants, because a lot of the stuff here is commercial. But if you catch somebody from down the bayou or even in the surrounding New Orleans area, like places like Edgar, Louisiana, and St. James Parish, and those different, where they say, hey, boy, how you doing there, Chef? Oh, you want something to eat, baby? I get you something to eat. It's total like you're in a whole other country. You heard me? Like, yeah, when they talk to you like that, eat there.
Yeah, go there. Yeah. That's a
sure
siren call. All right.
Oh, we just don't have that in London. As like, English, we're kind of we steal from everybody else. We have like go to like Brick Lane in London. That's great for getting a really good
That's
curry.
what I'm saying. A curry is like our favorite thing.
Curry,
isn't it?
Yeah.
I did have some curry out there. It was delicious.
Yeah.
Chicken curry, yes.
Yeah, we're good at that.
I had some of that out there. That was good. Like
fish and chips. If you're gonna get fish and chips, you got to get it from somewhere on the coast, so that then you have to battle like the seagulls for your fish and chips. They'll come down and try and steal it while you're trying to eat. So you got to fight that good fight for your food while you.
I think Marlon's got the feet for it. He'll be fine.
Yeah, and probably the hands to back them off as well.
Don't worry.
After seeing him hold that rugby ball.
Yeah, man. But
Marlon, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, just going back to football.
Football podcast.
There you go. Yeah,
I thought this
comes close to that. It's getting snatched.
I thought this is the rugby food podcast. That's what we turned into. Now, I wanted to ask you about the draft. It's a bit of a historic draft for LSU. Of 14 players going in the draft overall. How many in the first round? I didn't write that down. Was it 5 in the first round? 6 in the first round?
I think it was 6.
Yeah, we had, I want to say 6 going in the first round.
Yeah. Who are you most...
Like it was so long ago, but so close. Let's see.
Yeah. I know.
Joe Burrow, right?
Man.
And then was it Justin
went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick Queen. I'm missing some key players here. I know Clyde Edwards-Helaire went last to Kansas City, which man, Ollie, that's gonna be a good one, huh, bro?
Yeah.
What's that, man?
Like that's a good fit for him.
Yeah. Especially Damian Williams opted out as well.
Yeah.
He's going to be probably the starter.
And Quad just kept Darrell Williams.
Well,
Darrell Williams there too. They both were running backs at LSU together.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's the fancy football PPR league for Eddie Hellman. It's going to be massive. Getting catches out of the backfield for Kansas City when Patrick Mahomes throws that behind the back pass in the flats. Who's this, man?
Oh,
it's my oldest son, Kentrell.
What's up, Control?
Nice
how's it going?
Good.
Oh, you're just freaking him out.
Just do the typical dad thing, aren't you?
Have you got him on the Marlon Favorite fitness program, getting ready for rugby season?
Yeah, well, he's actually a punter. He's a high school punter. He averages like 45 yards a punt. 48 yards a punt.
Wow.
And he plays receiver. Right now, his coach just started moving him up with the first receiver group. So he's doing pretty good.
Nice.
More tall and slimmer than I am. So he's like 185, 190. Well, at that age, I was about 315. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, bit different then.
Although all that lovely food around your way, it must have been easy to try and keep that weight going.
Oh, Trell, come show him your plate. Come on, show him. See, that's from Popeyes.
Oh,
delicious.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, well, you're just making me hungry, man. You're just making me really hungry.
Yeah, I'm going to have a second dinner after this.
I'm tripping. I forget it's nighttime out there, but y'all. Yeah. I'm still in the early afternoon.
Yeah.
It's like 8 o'clock.
That's crazy. So, yeah, that's his deal. He's eating some Popeyes chicken.
It's what makes punters strong, right? It's that should be the new Popeyes chicken advertising slogan. Popeyes chicken, born for the NFL.
That's funny. So,
yeah, we got to go. We got to go back to this LSU draft, though, man. In terms of the quality that came out of it, and there are some real big ceilings for success for a lot of these players. Except for the fact that they are going into what is the toughest ever NFL offseason as a rookie to be prepared for?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you got any insight on like the thought process that must be going on right now for, I mean, even a Joe Burrow or whoever coming out of college, going into this kind of offseason and trying to get ready? Learning playbooks is hard enough as it is.
Right. Well, for those guys, I will say this. At least in the case of Joe Burrow, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they just had a historical collegiate football career last season. And the way the NFL works, they have a big deal for SEC players that can transition over to the game well. And those guys coming off of the season that they came off of, you couldn't ask for much more better pro-ready guys from the coaching staff on down to how we prepare at LSU. I think those guys are at an advantage. Let's say if Marcus Davenport would have came in after a pandemic. Now, Joe Burrow will have somewhat of a challenge. I don't expect him to just have the best performance of the world because, again, he's not being inserted. If he was drafted to, let's say, the Dallas Cowboys, well, you have probably a fairly more respectable coach in Mike McCarthy with a receiving core like that, with an offensive line like that, with a defense like that, then that's different. Then you really plug and play. Joe is a part of the rebuild out there in Cincinnati, so I don't expect him to be Joe Almighty he was at LSU in his first season in the NFL. He may have more of a Peyton Manning type process where his first 2-3 years in the league, painful, but, I mean, he's putting on a gold jacket.
There's going to be a few.
Oh, wow,
that's a bold.
That's
bold
really
statement.
bold. That's really bold.
Hall of Fame already. You heard it here.
You really?
No, I'm talking about Peyton Manning's putting on a gold jacket.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought you were putting a gold jacket on Joe Burrow.
Peyton Manning. I was comparing him to Peyton, and I was saying that Peyton Manning has on a gold jacket, and he went through a rough patch. Now,
I got you.
In the case of Joe Burrow, what P word I will use is potential. He has a lot of potential, Joe Burrow, to do a lot. He only had a chance to show us 1 year, but what I will say about Joe Burrow is the poise that he has and the way he approached the game and how quick he gets guys rapport. He has an opportunity to take it to the NFL level and do really exceptionally well.
Yeah, he's never seemed like a player short of confidence. That's got to be said. Even in front of the media, he looks very assured of himself, which to be a QB and walk into a new team and be the leader of that team, you have to do that. 100%.
No doubt.
Dude, I thought you were going so bold for a second. I thought you were coming out outrageously bold. I mean,
I liked it.
Yeah.
I don't mind being bold. If he would have if he was in the Saints office, under Coach Payton, I would have made that bold statement.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Coach Zach Taylor isn't a great coach, but Sean is going down as one of the more, how could I say it? One of the more famous, dominant offensive minds of all time in NFL history.
Yeah, he's an accomplished offensive coach and great at getting the best out of quarterbacks as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Now, I would talk my trash then. Then I would say Joe Burrow has a better chance at putting on that gold jacket because we saw what he did at LSU in a Saints offense.
Yeah.
So
I do think that there is some potential, though, with Cincinnati. He's got Mixon in the backfield, who I really like. They've got A.J. Green hopefully coming back from injury.
Boyd.
Yeah, they've got Boyd.
Josh Ross.
Yeah, Ross as well. Yeah. It seems like he has got some weapons that can come through.
Line is a problem.
It's just the offensive line. Yeah, is he going to get any time to actually sling it or not? I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell people all the time the game is won and lost inside the trenches, baby. Just the name of my podcast. That's where it is. It's important. I mean, look across the NFL. The teams that are very successful are the teams that have great offensive lines.
Yeah. And defensive lines, because if you can control both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage, you've got a great chance of stopping the ball getting out and also getting the ball out. So, yeah, I totally agree. And it's one of those ones where I think that the Bengals' offensive line is going to be the biggest downfall of Joe Burrow this season anyway, unless they manage to scheme it so he has lots of wide receiver screens or running back screens. I think it's going to be the answer, isn't it?
It will be. I just got some news on my phone, too. Travis Kelce, he signed a 4-year extension.
Oh, he waited until after the...
He wanted that George Kittle money, did he?
Yeah. And then I saw earlier this week was that Everson Griffin signed with the Cowboys. So they just made their D-line even better. It's gonna be an interesting year. I tell y'all, it's the wild. You used to hearing about the wild west, boy. That NFC South, whew, boy.
Well, I've got my Falcons top on, Marlon. This is my. That's...
Oh, you rock with the Falcons?
Yeah, that's my team. I probably shouldn't bring it up because last time I got absolutely slammed for it
by Shane,
Shane, who showed me his Super Bowl trophy.
Hey, that is an ongoing meme. That 28.
Oh man, it's never going away until we actually win Super Bowl. It's never going away. I don't know when that's going to be. So
it actually motivated my homeboy to retire. My homeboy Tyson Jackson, we played at LSU together. He was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he knew he was going to get a Super Bowl ring, and boy, that happened. He don't want to talk about that game. He's like,
oh man, no one wants to talk about that game. It was very sad. I tell you what, I was looking through LSU alumni, and one of my favorite players is Deion Jones, and he was at LSU, wasn't he? In 20. Well, you wouldn't have played with him. He finished in 2015, didn't he?
Yeah, he finished in 2015.
Yeah.
He's from New Orleans too. He went to Jesuit High School.
Ah, nice. Okay.
He's New Orleans native as well. He's a fellow 504.
I bet he's unpopular now playing for the Falcons, though. That's the only problem. He should have stayed. He should have got drafted by the Saints, right?
Yeah. They couldn't. They could have gotten him because he went second round. He was a sleeper. A lot of folks.
Yeah.
I think what Coach Dan Quinn saw was a guy that can move at that position. 4.4, 4.3.
He's so good.
Yeah, and that I call that Drew Brees' kryptonite, Deion Jones.
He picked him off. He picked him off twice in the game, didn't he? He iced him with a pick in the end zone. But
I saw that one. I was at that game. I went to. Yep.
Wicked. It's I think. I mean, I'm obviously biased because I'm a Falcons fan, but I think that Falcons Saints is nailed on banger every year. I think it's one of the best fixtures. Yeah.
Yeah, it's deep rooted because of the reception we got from some folks out of Atlanta back during Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, really?
We started all of this, right? Because we had got dispatched, and when we came back in 2006, is that famous game back in the Dome against Atlanta.
Yeah.
And ever since that, the rivalry just got thicker and thicker. Atlanta's like a 7-hour drive. I tell you one thing, it was so funny. When Atlanta won, this was 2017, me and a few of my cousins, we went out. I just wanted to experience the new stadium, and it was nice. You could literally take $15 or 15.50 pounds to the arena and eat well.
Oh, really?
The entire
Yeah, they have locally sourced food, and they keep the costs down as well, and they encourage local businesses to bring their food and drink business to.
Oh, that's cool.
I really rate that. That's great.
Oh,
hey.
Yeah. My phone died, guys. I'm so sorry.
That's all right,
man.
Don't worry. We're getting ready to wrap up. We thought we'd lost you.
Yeah.
I did think his battery, he did say it's only 10%. This is a video call. We could be playing with fire. All right. All good, man. I'm trying to think where we were at. We just got sidetracked.
We were talking about not Dabo. You had said
Dave's
the draft.
LSU
draft
alumni stuff. Yeah.
Dion Jones.
Oh, Falcon Saints.
Falcon Saints. There you go.
Fans are scumbags for their involvement in the rivalry. I think that's what we were saying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. We were talking about that rivalry and how serious it is with Atlanta and the Saints. And then more interesting, guys, you have Teddy Bridgewater and Joe Brady out at Carolina, and then you have TB12 and that crazy receiving core down there with Bruce Arians in it. So that's savage.
It was hard enough already without bringing a 6-time Super Bowl winning champion down into our division. Like,
and his favorite target in Rob Gronkowski as well.
Yeah, it's no fun.
Yes.
Who do you reckon is going to win the NFC South? Do you reckon it's going to be Saints and the Bucs, or do you reckon there's an outside hope for the Falcons just to make Dave feel happy?
Well, Dave, I'm sorry, man. I think this is another year for the Saints.
Yeah, me too.
It's crazy with all of the pandemic. When football does play, I think that's the best ready-to-go team in the NFC South because, yes, Tom Brady is – in most cases, the GOAT. Most cases, people view him the GOAT. But he still didn't have a full OTAs. He didn't have a full off season with these guys. It's a new duo out there. You have a new head coach in Matt Rule at Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater is just getting into his contract, and then you have a young but energized Joe Brady over there at Carolina. Carolina roster looks really good though.
Yeah.
Now Atlanta, Dave, you might like this, but Atlanta got Ty Gurley down there now. Matt Ryan was an MVP quarterback at some point in the NFL, and then Don Julio Jones, baby.
Yeah.
You know,
and my boy Dion Jones as well. There's Grady Jarrett. There's loads of talent. It's just putting it together. Dan Quinn doesn't seem to be able to pull it all together. So.
It just seems the players only play for him when they gets kind of worried that he's going to be fired.
Yeah.
When it's the first kind of 7 games, it's fine. Oh, now he might be fired. Now we'll play.
Yeah, I think we go 10-6 though. I think we're going to go to the playoffs. We'll go 10-6.
I don't think it's right either.
But the Saints will probably be 12-4, something like that. It's a hell of a team. They just can't win a playoff game, but it's not like that's important or anything, is it?
Fired.
Well, let's not go back to that Super Bowl.
Oh no! Hey, I gotta take some shots when I can, right?
I would love to.
Backs against the wall, Marla.
The Vikings got the Saints numbers sometimes. Particularly, that's why they went with Cesar Ruiz and Eric McCoy the year before, just to really beef up that interior line. You're committing to Drew Brees. You got to make sure that offensive line is good because the new NFL is Russell Wilson, is Lamar Jackson, guys like that, Kyler Murray. When it all breaks down, they can run, they can move, they can make the yards on their feet. Drew not gonna give you that right now. He just needs an offensive line, and he'll be Captain America for you.
And maybe some decent calls by the refs would help as well along the way, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That too. Now that was a robbery year. I thought that was when the Saints were at their best in recent times, and that's something the folks down here will never forget. It was just from the Minnesota Miracle to that. It was just too many moving pieces, and folks weren't too happy down here at all about that.
Now, that's the thing. Atlanta have had that slow kill. I don't want to bring it up more, Dave, but that Super Bowl was like a slow kill because once you saw New England going, it was halfway through the fourth quarter, it seemed like inevitability that New England were just going to do enough to win it. Whereas New Orleans have had 2 huge, shockingly drastic moments that just hit you like a truck from out of nowhere, the flag and the Minnesota Miracle, which is harder to take for a fan base. Talk it out between yourselves, guys. Jazz, we can stay quiet on this one for a little bit.
Look at this Eagles fan. They win 1 Super Bowl, and he gets all on his high horse. Jesus! Oh, way to win your division with 8 wins last year, or whatever the hell you did.
Go Birds!
Get out of here.
I don't know. I guess it's the classic do you want to die slow or fast?
Yeah.
Man,
you know, the unexpected kill.
You're dying either way, right?
Lost, yeah, either way you're going. So that's something. And even with Minnesota, I'm interested in seeing how they're going to look. Of course, with Dalvin Cook being one of the top running backs in the league. So how the football season going to look this year too? I mean, are we going to have like regional bubbles? I don't know. It's just a whole bunch of.
Do you think
what the guys that you know, what are they saying? Have they got any more inside information about what's happening, or is it just no one knows what's going on?
No one knows what's going on. I know they had this long trail of having the players around. So they went through 7 days of this and then 7 days of conditioning. And, you know, now that we're getting closer to the season, it's a data deal, guys. And I mean, we're really depending on Eastern civilization, meaning the three guys I'm on with right now. Once y'all start telling us it's all good, then we know what to do over here in the West, on the Western civilization. So I will say this, a good buddy of mine, Rob Cooley, he has the Wookham Wanderers out there. So congratulations on those guys on their championship deal. And Big Bo out there handling his business, muscling them on out. But for the fact that happened this summer and they played, that is a decent sign for football working. Just trying to contain this corona. But again, y'all, and I know this is the UK Pick Six podcast, and we just having casual talk here. We know it's a lot. There's a lot of politics. So after November here in America, we'll have a better idea of what's going on with all this stuff here. Because right now it's just everybody's forced to make their own decision as opposed to a one, unified decision.
Voice.
Yeah,
totally. The same with us, though. We get told, do this, but don't do that. But do that, but don't do this. But it's not clear and obvious. It's very much a case of do what you want, and if you're wrong, well, that's your fault.
Well, it's frustrating having. So I live in Wales, Marlon, and Wales and England have had different policies throughout this. So we were locked down for an extra 2 weeks. And like, there's little things like in Wales, you don't have to wear a mask in the shops, but in England, you do have to wear a mask when you go into the shops. And it's like, it's really weird. So I'm going back to visit these guys next week, and I'm going to have to like adjust my mind to a new set of rules,
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
Now, when y'all been going on lockdown, like is it like a mandatory quarantine? Like the police were checking y'all if you're out type deal? Was it that tight?
Yeah, they weren't that bad. I don't think.
They were there. They had the mandate to arrest people and stuff.
They broke up like there were some people that had kind of illegal house parties and invited people over and things like that, and the police broke it up and gave out fines and stuff. And but they weren't strict. We were told that you could have like an hour a day to outside. exercise, and people. I mean, I know I did like an hour. I'd go for an hour and a half, 2 hour walk kind of thing, and you weren't really caught up on
What's
that.
a rebel, Marlon?
I know.
How did that work? Did y'all?
I mean, it wasn't really policed. We just would leave the house and go for a walk or whatever, and then if you were 3 hours or 10 hours, no one was really checking up on you.
Gotcha. Okay.
But they did like pull over.
Numbers drop?
Yeah. Well, that's when the numbers started to go down because people were kind of being quite quite vigilant about making sure they stuck to the rules.
Yeah.
And like cars on motorways were pulled over quite regularly. It's like, where are you going to? Where have you come from? Why are you making that journey? If it's not essential, then we're going to write you a ticket, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they did do a bit of policing to ensure that people got the message to stay home. But I think a lot of people were just scared as well. It was so early on when we didn't know what was going to happen. There was just a fear of, right, well, let's just stay indoors and do what we can to try and ride it out, man. It's been
strange,
mental. It's really bonkers.
But on the NFL sort of point of view, the trouble you guys have is that the MLB are struggling with their cases, aren't they? So that's probably the bad sign for the NFL season, if they can't control it in Major League Baseball, then how can you control it in the NFL when there's more players and more staff?
Again, the case with the NFL, y'all, I think the toughest side more than anything else in regards to the NFL is the amount of contact, the droplets, 32 teams, physical contact, like real physical contact. I know with the NBA, you're going to get a little bump and fade away type deal, but I'm talking about tackling, breathing, being on top of people. That's a bit different, and it's more people.
Yeah.
So
the more people is the thing, isn't it?
I think the more people and the type of contact, like anytime, like you mentioned MLB, it's not that much contact. I mean, you're trying to tag someone off, you get that little deal, but it's not 5 guys. Like, take a picture of this. Think of the coronavirus and then envision when the Saints lost to the 49ers last year. Think of when they had like 4 Saints on George Kittle.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's going to be
of that
wet shed.
Or a
like,
fumble.
Just hanging off him, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Take a picture of that play and then think of the coronavirus. Whereas in MLB, you'll see someone tagging off someone trying to tag in that coming to home plate. Or in basketball, you'll catch a James Harden doing a bump and a fadeaway. But football is so, I think the season does, and this is just, like I said, no one really knows. Everyone that I talk to said we're going to play a season. SEC is going to play a season. The logistics, how all of this is going to happen is the big question.
Yeah.
Do you want to see them play? There's particularly in the college game, they're talking about how it's safer for the players to actually be at the universities and involved in the football system because it's more likely to be cleaner and there's more sterilized areas for them compared to if the players are just at home, because a lot of the players come from kind of rural backgrounds and tougher backgrounds as well. So it might actually be beneficial from a safety point of view to have the players in and around the football team at the university level, at least, because it's better run.
I do agree with that to a certain extent. Keeping all of the players there and in those environments are better because it's a controlled environment. Like your average Joe, the general population can't just walk in LSU's locker room and just kick it with the players. So that does help. The issue is when the kids do go home, nutrition changes, resources changes. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Training changes. 70% of the kids from the hood, they come from poverty. So when they go back home, that's their reality. And I do get that side of it. But then I also understand the side of you're going to take them away from their families. Eventually they're going to be around their families. What if they're around their grandmothers? So it's
tricky.
Been a ball of confusion, y'all. I really do think the best thing, the sport is the medicine, basically, for all of us. We all just hoping and anticipating that the football season happens. And as of right now, the NFL is going to play. As of right now, the SEC and ACC is more than likely going to play. But there is the flip side to where, okay, if these numbers continue to increase and we continue to not have an answer for this coronavirus, and I do understand the financial side of it, but is it that important?
Yeah.
So I am a safety first guy, but I do believe in reason.
Dude, this is too nice to be a D tackle. We were saying this just when you dropped out. Like, I don't understand this, man. All these NFL players are so vicious in kit, and then so nice when you just chat with them. They're all,
it's all entertainment, man. Like, think about it. Like, when you see, put it to you like this, when you see, let's say, Denzel Washington, you just think he's this actor that's going to be this cool, collective guy. In person, he's totally different from how he's an actor. And I think that's what us football players are able to do. We're able to, on the field, I'm crazy. Like, I'm mentally ill. Get away from you.
Right, okay.
All for the field is just like that click, you know, it's a different, especially in college. And for me to be an NFL journeyman is different, is a different deal. You know, in college, it's more along the lines of survival. Like, okay, when I'm on this field, the guy lined up across to me gave 2 middle fingers to my entire life. He's like, I don't care if you don't get drafted, I'm going to bust you up. And then now we have a problem because now you're dealing with my livelihood. So from a psychological standpoint, we were able to tap into that. A lot of guys weren't able to control that. That's where you have a lot of domestic violence cases. You have a lot of mental illness cases out there because, you know, we're programmed to think this way in this institutionalized environment. And outside of that, you know, it's a challenge. You know, that's why for me, being able to transfer over to broadcasting really made the transition a little more comfortable because I'm still able to talk about the sport. But the contact of it does, you know, it is missed as well.
That made me think of Myles Garrett when when the Browns were on Hard Knocks, and he writes poetry and reads poetry, and when he's not playing, and then him on the field trying to kill somebody with a helmet.
With their own helmet as well.
Yeah, with their own helmet.
Precisely.
So, like, you can be
it's very happy
you can be quoting Shakespeare off the field, but you can turn into a psycho when you step over those lines, right?
With the coronavirus, Marlon, we said last week we had an over-under on how many weeks we think the NFL are going to get to. So we said 6.5, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm the only one so far we've spoken to that thinks there's going to be more than 6.5 weeks of football. What do you reckon?
I'll go over. I think 8. I think
an
8.
Optimist. Nice.
Half a season. Okay.
The half a season's good. Was that 8 weeks including playoffs?
No. I think once the playoffs happen, this year is just going to be different if it happens.
Yeah.
Because the logistics, we got to think about that. Like, how y'all gonna house this? Okay, if Drew Brees catches the coronavirus, Alvin Kamara catches the coronavirus, Michael Thomas catches it, 3 other guys on defense catches it, who are going to fill in for those guys?
Yeah.
Injuries happen, but it's not all the same injuries. If a guy has a bruised shoulder, okay, he just won't practice 3 or 4 days. Coronavirus is 20 days. You got to sit out, quarantine. So that side of it, you know, are you going to get a whole bunch of practice squad and really good players and put them in a bubble? And if somebody gets hurt, you just insert them in out of the bubble?
Maybe.
Like, these are the things I think about 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, I'm thinking, like, how are we going to do this? Like,
I just really want to see some football.
Yeah.
Just desperate for it. The longest off season ever.
Yeah. Marlon, we've kept you a long time. I'm going to ask, is it cool if we do one question each? We go around and have one last question each for you. Is that cool?
Sure. Yeah, I got a couple more minutes.
And then we'll get you out of here, man. We really appreciate the time. Jazzy, why don't you start us off, man?
So you said before you were an NFL journeyman. There was Tom Brady came out this week saying that it was difficult for him to learn a new playbook, having had learned the same one for the last however many years. And Josh McCown came out and said that at least that's one thing he's better than Tom Brady at. How difficult is it to learn a playbook? And do you have to learn it cover to cover, or is it kind of you learn chunks at a time? How does that work?
I'm more of a chunks at a time type guy. At the times I had to be traded or put on the waivers and sent to another team, getting their playbook, I typically, like when I went to Kansas City, I had to learn a defense and an offensive playbook because I was on a practice squad. So I was going to do the looks on offense and on defense since I didn't play. So you would have to learn. You didn't want to mess it up. So the way we typically did it was we would normally take a certain group amount of plays that were similar and put those plays together, right? And then go on the other side and so I would. Way one of my coaches, Coach Watts, taught me this. He said, "Man, just keep separating the plays."
Okay.
Because these are similar. So as a defensive lineman, as a 3 tech, you're going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this on these plays. So group these together, and then on this deal at the nose tech. So I tell people this all the time. My wife actually told me this last year at the Bridge Success event. She's like, y'all all smarter than y'all think y'all are. Y'all can excel in other industries outside of football. If y'all can learn this playbook and adapt to this culture, and this way you have some type of intelligence. But again, when you're passionate about something, it can sound like Swahili. You're going to learn it because you love it.
Yeah, totally.
100%. Learning something that you love is so much easier. It goes in like that, doesn't it?
Because you want to learn it.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I'll go next, Marlon. This is something that gets asked a lot. You're obviously in the southern states, down in Louisiana, SEC man. You played in the SEC for LSU. This question gets asked a lot, particularly about the SEC teams. Alabama at their peak, LSU last year. Could one of those elite college football teams genuinely beat like the
Cincinnati Bengals,
the winless Browns, or the Bengals last year? Do you genuinely think that sort of college level that they're playing in the SEC, the best of the best, Bama at their peak, could compete in the NFL?
I do believe that the LSU football team from 2019 would have beat half of the NFL last year.
What? Probably is. I think it's probably including the Falcons.
Now, you wanted me to have a bold statement, to get a knee-jerk reaction? I think the LSU football team we had last year, as is, beat half of the NFL.
Wow.
Playoff team? Sneak into the playoffs?
A wild card.
Wild card.
Nice.
Okay, all right.
Straight up.
All right. Fair enough.
That's fair.
Bold answer.
You've played it. I cannot argue against you, man. You've played it and lived it. So yeah.
Some people will try. Like I know when we post this, I know I'm gonna get a whole bunch. I don't care. I'll put that LSU football team with those receivers, those play callers, that defense, that secondary. I put Derek Stingley right now in the NFL, and he'll lock up. He'll just be another Patrick Peterson.
Oh really? Wow. Okay. That's high praise.
He's 18. He's 18 years old.
They breed corners as well at LSU, it seems.
Louisiana, baby.
Yeah, corner. LSU.
Christian Fulton, he a West Banker, baby. He from Jefferson Parish. He from right here on the West Bank. His family stayed 5 minutes from where I'm sitting right now.
Nice.
He's another one. Watch him at the Tennessee Titans, and you're going to be like, oh, Marlon wouldn't trip. You're going to see.
All right, okay.
Nice, I like that.
I believe you. I believe you, man.
I believe it, yeah.
The question I was going to ask you, we keep going back to LSU, but another LSU alumni, Jamal Adams, that was one of the best kind of debates that we've had on this podcast over the last couple of months, was that trade, because we didn't all agree on it, who had won the trade. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think it was a good move for the Seahawks? Do you think it was a good move for the Jets? What do you reckon?
I think it was a win-win for both organizations. I'll start with the Jets. Jamal wasn't happy. You know, he wasn't happy. He didn't quite, his personality didn't quite clash with the front office. And I've seen that happen before on numerous occasions, particularly in the NFL. He was very vocal about it. Mm-hmm. This isn't the same NFL anymore. These players talk. Like before, you could get guys to just shut up and play your threatening money. These guys don't care. Like Jamal Adams don't care what nobody thinks. He's going to speak his mind.
Yeah.
So I think personality-wise, it works. And then for Seattle, I think this is the most complete their secondary is going to be since the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
With the addition of Jamal Adams.
It's exciting.
He can play in the box. He can cover any of those receivers. He can play free. He can play strong safety. He's just so versatile. He hits. You know, he makes plays on the ball. I mean, he's a leader. So Pete Carroll's going to love him. So I think it's a win-win. The Jets can start over and rebuild because, again, they put all their chips behind it. He was their star on defense. Mm-hmm. And now Seattle gets a gem.
Fair.
That's a fair answer.
Nice.
Marlon, man, you've been awesome. Really appreciate the time, man. We've had so long with you, more than I thought we'd get. Thanks so much for the effort as well of like when it kept on dying out and stuff and getting back on. I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, you're a trooper.
And
absolutely.
No problem, fellas.
You've lived the perfect football career, surely. You're from Louisiana, just outside New Orleans, and you've won a Super Bowl with the Saints, and you've won a national championship with LSU, man. That's as good as it
like
gets.
Grand Slam, isn't it?
Bless it. Oh, y'all forgot one, baby.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Rugby team.
Dude, we will.
That's
We will be
the next goal.
picking your brain to the rugby down the line. If you're happy to come back on again, man, we'd love to get you back on later on in the season if there is one. Talk rugby. I think Jazz could talk food with you for a lot longer.
You look at those teams, though. Their first-round talents that came out.
All I'm seeing is the amount of
instant stars. Quite a lot of
guys.
them in the league. So if you think that you had instant stars already on one team altogether, it would make sense for them to be able to play very competitively.
Yeah,
it's a shame we can't. You can never do
it.
Prove these things, can you?
Yeah, no, it's so much speculation.
Yeah,
but it gives us more to chat about.
Oh, I really hope we get football, guys.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are both pessimistic, thinking it's under 6.5. I'm still going with over.
I just don't want to get. I almost don't want to get my hopes up of like any football, because I feel like this year is
cursed.
Yeah, so cursed that if you say you want to do something, it's going to get fucking.
Well, it's been like
stolen away.
Somebody said to me earlier today, it was every month obviously has been like stuff's been hit and been hit and been hit, and actually August so far there hasn't been anything that's been. Like nothing, I don't think any sports-wise anything's been cancelled yet that was going to be on like major sport in terms of the big ones.
Yeah, I've had all the MLB cases, haven't we? But
that hasn't stopped the league going on yet. Though there's still, but they're still going, which is why I'm so worried that we're waiting for the thing to hit in August, and the thing is going to be we just can't do September 8th, Kansas City opening night. Like,
true, but again, talk about that though. If you watched, I'm sure you. I know Ollie had. Dave may not have watched it yet, but Schultz talking about the NBA bubble and how they're not really watching it that much and not really caring as much of it because without the fans there, without home court advantage, it kind of means nothing what your seeding is in the playoffs.
So the figures down then, Jazz?
Yeah.
For people. That's amazing considering it's like the best thing going.
But it is true in that they didn't market the pre-playoff kind of tournament very well. I mean, it's a fantastic finish, actually. I think it goes down tonight with the Suns, Blazers, Spurs, and somebody else all battling basically for the last playoff spot, or there's going to be a playoff for the last playoff spot. Yeah. But because it's been so kind of, all right, just get it back up and running, I think they haven't had a chance to even market it as, right, here's everything that's going on for the pre-playoff tournament. I think once the playoffs have started in the NHL and once they start later on next week for the NBA, I think figures will go up again because it's obvious, meaningful basketball.
I think you will get those kind of like not tacit fans, but like people that like multiple sports and that aren't really into American football. It could be enough where they just turn it on and they're like, this is a bit weird. Like there's no crowd noise. And then
same with football though.
It could be enough where it's just like, nah, I don't want to do it.
Well, MLB really good. Is on TV, it's really weird. On all of the close-up shots, they're empty stands, and you've got the cardboard cutouts like we discussed with Whitney last week and everything. But when they go to the main broadcast cams, like when somebody hits a home run, they've put a digital crowd in, and it looks just kind of as a ball's whizzing through the air.
Oh, is that what you were talking about last week with Whitney? Yeah, she had like a digital seat.
Well, that's the NBA, and she had a cut out at the Ray Stadium.
Yeah, the NBA's got Zoom calls where they actually put your webcam on, but this is like a digital crowd, like on a video game. So it's a fake crowd, but as the camera's panning and a ball's flying through the air, you don't really notice that it's like a fake crowd. It's just
until someone puts a mitt up and then it goes through it because it's not a real person.
Yeah,
but I don't know what I'd prefer. To be honest, I don't mind kind of being a little bit lied to. Like if you did that and you put some crowd noise in, I could imagine it being better than no fans and no noise.
That's cool. Yeah. Although it would be,
I don't know. I'd have to see both of them and see how I like. But I could imagine preferring that, and I don't think it's like, I don't know.
Well, they gave you the option on
maybe it could be a good idea
or like fake crowd noise or no
not.
crowd noise.
I pick not every time.
So there are ways for it to
be adjusted
be
to preferences.
I guess it depends. If I was watching a game with you guys, then wouldn't need any noise. But if I was watching a game on my own, then
can you imagine Red Zone bouncing around to all these big plays with just a dead silence?
You get the commentary though.
It's going to put even more on Martin, isn't it? To I don't know, keep the energy up. Not that he struggles with that, because he's amazing. But what's his name? I always forget his name.
Scott Hansen.
Scott Hansen, yeah.
He's great guy.
I was trying to figure out who Martin was to begin with. I was like, who the hell's fucking Martin?
Oh, yeah, props to you guys for last week, by the way. I listened to all of it. It was wicked.
Enjoyed it?
Yeah, I really did. Yeah, she's
Whitney
great.
was a great guest.
She's lovely.
She's so enthusiastic about
the
Tampa Bay teams. Is brilliant.
I know. I sent her I sent her a message on Instagram, actually, just saying, thanks for coming on and apologising for my weird question. She said she found it funny. So
the winky wink face was the question. Yeah,
that was...
yeah, but I thought that was good. I was just channeling my inner Mark Sessler. That's the kind of thing that he would like.
Yeah,
some weird shit.
I didn't enjoy reading that out.
I know you didn't. That was part of my thing. I wanted to make you feel weird.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted a bit of a funny in there. So yeah. Her answer was actually, that's what I said in the Instagram. I was like, for a really stupid question. Her answer was actually really, really good. That was one of her better answers. So
she's a pro, man.
Man, she's wicked. So
she's great.
That was fun. You guys got the most out of that. It was wicked.
Very lucky with the guests that we've had. They've all been really good.
Very lucky. I mean, that's all your contacts, isn't it, Ollie? So you've been driving it forward very nicely for us.
I'm super excited to talk fantasy next week as well.
Yeah,
I'm
Neil
really excited.
Definitely joining us next week. He's happy to do any day of the week after 7:30. So he will be joining us to talk about how to draft in fantasy.
And
what to do.
I quite like. I mean, we seem to be doing them. I think we've done a couple on Wednesday, but Thursdays seem to be
mostly Thursday.
The majority. So if we can try and keep that consistency, then maybe it will just be a habit-forming thing that we just
maybe don't put this bit on the podcast because it's.
We'll try and keep it as Thursday, but we'll sort it out as we go. Man, it's a podcast. Don't worry about it. Dave, do you know your Twitter handle off the top of your head?
Nope.
Cool. It's David Bluck 1 on Twitter for Dave, and David Bluck on Instagram. Jazz is Jazz Gillum and at Jazz Gillum.
On both.
Yep. I'm O_J_Wilson on both of them. And on both of them, the new name change, which I should have told Marlon because he kept on calling it.
I know, bless him. He was plugging the old one.
But we
doing well on it, yeah.
We have had the rebrand, so to speak. Return the Picks is on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Just Return the Picks, all one word. No underscores, no nothing like that.
No podcast bits because
clean and simple.
Because if we let Dave do it, it'd been return_the_picks_podcast_Dave.
Yeah, but
he loves the underscores, does old Davey boy.
So if you want to,
sorry, Jazz, were you talking? I didn't hear any of that.
No, it sounded like you did because you just replied.
It's just boring and
fire any abuse towards Jazz. Get in contact over Instagram. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's where you'll find him, camped out,
and not on his. Do it on the podcast one. It's way more interesting. Yeah, that's big thanks once again to Marlon. Yeah, living the dream, man. Genuinely getting rings.
Oh, he loves it. He loves it. So you can tell how much he loves that area as well. It's
big thanks, Marlon. Big thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week talking fantasy football and hopefully a bit of Hard Knocks as well, and anything else that goes on. Take care.